What's up, you guys? I'm Will Static, and today we're going to do a little unboxing. But I'm going to show you a few things that I picked up. This, my friends, this wireless timer remote is absolutely awesome for the price. This is a TWT83TX. So this is the remote control trigger. Basically plug this right into the camera, and you need to, this one had the mount for the Sony, so if you have a Canon you may need to make sure that yours is compatible with this, but I believe it was right around, they're pretty cheap. Honestly, they're really easy to use. They're both battery powered. I believe they're both AAA, so easily accessible on the batteries. I use this all the time for doing self-portraits. So since I switched over to Sony, I grabbed some Godox. This is the trigger for the Godox. So I picked up a couple of the V860 Godox flashes as well as the trigger. With my Canons, I always used Velcro on the side of the actual Speedlight itself, so I always attached all my gels directly to this. It's easy to, you know, with the Velcro, it makes it super easy. So you'll basically just put the gel you want on the top, fold that over, and then bam. Super easy. It's kind of cool that they thought about this. My 580s, I kind of used to rig this up a little bit differently, but the quality on these are pretty nice. I'll probably do a full review and test on this. I really haven't messed around with these. I'm familiar with the Canon 580s, but these are kind of new to me, so I'll do some playing around and maybe do a full review on these. I do like, for the money, the build quality is pretty good. I really, using them for the short time that I have, I really haven't seen many issues with them. You know, you do get what you pay for. Some of the, you know, these mounts are all plastic versus if you went to Sony, Canon, or Nikon direct flash, or some of the upper end ones, they have a little bit better mounts on the hot shoe. But I mean, for what it is, I mean, you get decent amount for, you get a really good value of what you paid for this. What I really like about these Godox is, instead of using a ton of AA batteries, they use a rechargeable battery, a lithium ion battery that you can recharge. Makes it super nice. Used it for, I want to say 4 or 5 hours straight, and I don't even think I used half the battery, so it was pretty amazing. They cycled pretty quickly. The recharge on it between flashes was very quick. It starts to lag, especially when you're on AA's. You notice that they don't cycle as quickly when you're on AA, especially when they're getting lower on battery life. But these are awesome. I mean, they did pretty well. The buttons seem to be made pretty good. The screen is good. The tolerances on all the plastic is really nice. So I really look forward to using these and see how they do. I've had a lot of people say really great things, but I look forward to testing this out, and we'll see how they do in the future. So because I have a Manfrotto tripod I use for my photos, I wanted to get a video only tripod, but I didn't quite want to dive into the Manfrotto yet. There are a few other, the Coleman makes a really good one as well, I believe. I wanted to try one of the lower tier video tripods and see how they did. So I decided to go with the Viltrox. And this is a sub $200 level tripod. So I knew it definitely wasn't going to be even close to the quality of Manfrotto or anything like that. But I thought I'd give it a try and we'll see how it goes. I eventually will go into the upper tier tripods, but I wanted to test out the budget ones and see how they do. Comes with a full case. The case is a nice touch. So the legs seem to actually be pretty well made. Also picked up a cage for one of my Sonys, the SMALLRIG. full metal cage. I could basically mount any accessory known to man on it. So this is the SMALLRIG. This is actually for my other Sony, my A6000. As you can see, they have literally holes everywhere. I'll do a full review on this later on. As you can see, I mean, you've got different mount for a cold shoe, tons and tons and tons of options. If you want to hang brackets or mics or any other accessory that you want on your camera, especially for filmmakers, is great. These, I think, for the A6000 are super cheap. I did buy one for my film. I have two A7 IIs that I use, one which you're watching on the camera, so I've also got one on there. I have my mic and a couple other brackets on there as well. It's nice to do any of those arms if you want to screw directly on there versus clamping onto your tripod or whatever, so it's nice to have that versatility. These things are super stout. They're built really well, they're machined really well. They're honestly, for the money, these things are great. So check out the SMALLRIGs. I'll have the link in the description for this, and I'll probably also do a full review on one of them. Also picked up a doobie. Hope that is pronounced right. Drone not included, obviously, in this case. I've already stuffed it with mine and actually kind of tested it out a little bit. The quality of it's actually really nice. It's actually built really well for the money. I mean, like, versus carrying it or carrying my drone around, I really didn't want to spend, you know, a couple $100 on some of the harder cases, but this itself seems to be pretty protected. A lot of the foam is covering everything that I need. Honestly, for the money, this thing's pretty sweet setup. Got room, I believe, for also got zipper for all the instructions or any other type of accessories or lens filters or anything like that. Look forward to grabbing some ND filters and polarizers for this. I picked up a couple of these. I believe they're Neewers. We'll see how they do. They're pretty cheaply made. I let out some curse words when I was trying to use it the first time, and I mean, the build quality on these are not exactly what I was hoping for, but for the money, supposed to have a spring in here. This was actually broken on the top of this. I didn't bother sending it back to Amazon because I know they're going to get beat up as much as I use my gear. So honestly though, for what it is, I can be able to mount up all my accessories to this. Soft boxes, cones, snoots, whatever you want, you can mount up to here. Your Speedlight clamps into this side, and then you basically just clamp it down, and then you could basically use full strobe capability with all the accessories, the same as your strobe lights, what they come with. So our little Craftsman toolkits, I use these all the time. I keep at least one in my camera bag, and I always keep one in my camera bag, one on my keychain, and they're really cheap. Honestly, they're Craftsman, so they're built really well. I don't know if they'll still be carrying these now that Craftsman was bought out, but you might check the website. Part number on these little tools is a 94160. It's got different screwdriver options on it. I typically only use this one for my tripods, but instead of sometimes I don't have a quarter in my pocket, so it's nice to always, you know, instead of using my keys or something and bending them, you always have this option for your tripods, and they're really cheap. You know, usually people carry a quarter, but it's nice to have that extra option if you forget. That way you can torque your camera down on your tripod. I mean, it's worth the investment for these cool little tools, you know, to save your camera if it's not on tight enough. So I wanted to get a video only tripod, but I didn't quite want to dive into the Manfrotto yet. There are a few other, the Coleman makes a really good one as well, I believe. I wanted to try one of the lower tier video tripods and see how they did. So I decided to go with the Viltrox. And this was a sub $200 level tripod. So I knew it definitely wasn't going to be even close to the quality of Manfrotto or anything like that. But I thought I'd give it a try and we'll see how it goes. I eventually will go into the upper tier tripods, but I wanted to test out the budget ones and see how they do. So the legs seem to actually be pretty well made. The thing I found interesting was a lot of this was small like rivets, which kind of, you can see in there, a lot of this is made with what looks to be like cheap rivets and plastic. I wasn't too crazy about that, but I've noticed using it a couple of times, it doesn't function as well as it should, but it did the job, you know. So for what it is, I mean, if I can accomplish my goal, I'm not going to be too critical over this. With somebody that's starting out as a filmmaker, you always need a great tripod. So, you know, if you've only got a couple $100 to spend and you want an awesome tripod, you know, this might be something worth giving it a try. This is the VX-18M Viltrox. They do look like they tried to kind of go by the Manfrotto. And the actual plates on the top, I tried with my other Manfrotto, they will work with each other. So if you've got another Manfrotto plate, you can literally swap. I had this between the photo and the video tripod, and they were both compatible with each other, which was kind of nice. The fluid head seemed to do okay. I mean, it wasn't spectacular, but you know what, it did the job. I kind of look forward to kind of testing this out and kind of doing a hardcore test on it and seeing if it really, you know, holds up to what I need it to do. But I'll do a review on it in the future. We'll kind of put it to its paces and see how it does. Thanks for joining me for the unboxing, and I'll see you soon for the detailed reviews on these products. And for all the details and descriptions of these products, check the links below in the description, and I will see you guys next time.